माधव कुंज विहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदनंदना व्रज जनरंजना यशोदनंदना व्रज जनरंजना यमुनतीरा वनचारी यमुनतीरा वनचारी राधा माधवा कुंजा विहारी राधा माधवा कुंजा विहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदनंदना व्रज जनरंजना यशोदनंदना व्रज जनरंजना यमुनतीरा वनचारी यमुनतीरा वनचारी राधा माधवा कुंजा विहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदनंदना व्रज जनरंजना यमुनतीरा वनचारी राधा माधवा कुंजा विहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे जय राधा जम सुंदरा जय जगन्नाथ जय बलादेवा जय सुभद्रा जय गौरानिता जय गौरानिता जय गौरानिता जय गौरानिता निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल जय प्रभु पदा जय प्रभु पदा जय प्रभु पदा जय प्रभु पदा गौर प्रमानंदे हरि बोल थैंक यू फॉर जॉइनिंग एवं विष्णुपाद ब्रह्मंत परिव्राज काजर अष्टोत्तर चतुर्श्री श्रीमद ऐसी भक्त वेदांत संस्पाद की जाए एवं विष्णुपाद ब्रह्मंत परिव्राज काजर अष्टोत्तर चतुर्श्री श्रीमद भक्त सिद्धांत सरसाकुर गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जाए आनंद कोटि वैष्णव की जाए नमाचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर की जाए प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जाए श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जाए ब्रजभूमि श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय नवदीप मायापुर धाम की जय श्री क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय गंगामयी यमुनामयी की जय भक्ति देव तुलसी महारानी की जय समवेत भक्त वृंद की जय हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय निताय गौर प्रमानंदे हरि हरि बोल आलोरीश्वर से मुड़ी उड़ी हरे कृष्ण आलोरीश्वर से मुड़ी उड़ी हरे कृष्ण आलोरीश्वर से मुड़ी उड़ी हरे कृष्ण आलोरीस श्री गुरु गौरांगा गोपाल की जय ओम विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी नाम नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचार विशेष शून्यवाद पाश्चात्य विस्तार गुरुदेव जय गोपाल जय. Okay, we're reading from Bhagavad Gita. Hold on, give me a minute. I have to give the Bhagavad Gitas which are there underneath. 1 minute. Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayak Nasta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtiki. Hari Om Tat Sat. Today, this is the today's Panchatattva Darshan from Mayapur Dham live. Reading from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10, verse number 26. I think probably we'll cover only one verse today. Opulence of the Absolute, verse number 26. Aswadha sarva vrikshanam devarshinam cha narada gandharvanam chitraradha siddhanam kapilo muni. Aswadha sarva vrikshanam devarshinam cha narada gandharvanam chitraradha siddhanam kapilo muni. Please come. If you need chairs, you can use, but otherwise, if you can sit, you can sit. No. Don't be, please. It will be too long, probably to sit in the chair. Please be comfortable. So, please. Sorry. Aswadha sarva vrikshanam devarshinam cha narada gandharvanam cha chitraradha siddhanam kapilo muni. All can sit backwards to the wall. Please come, so that you are comfortable. Long time we have to sit today. Mataji said, no, not much option there. Word to word. Thank you. You're welcome. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Aswadha, banyan tree. Asarva Vrikshanam, of all trees. Devarshinam, of all the sages among the demigods. Cha, and Narada. Gandharvanam, of the citizens of the Gandharva planet. Chitraradha, Siddhanam, of all those who are perfected. Kapila Muni. Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Of all trees, I am banyan tree, and the sages among the demigods, I am Narada. Of the Gandharvas, I am Chitraradha, and among perfected beings, I am the sage Kapila. Please repeat. Reading from chapter 10, Opulence of the Absolute, verse number 26. Of all the trees, I am the banyan tree, and of the sages among the demigods, I am Narada. Of the Gandharvas, I am Chitraratha. And among perfected beings, I am the sage Kapila. Okay. I think we'll cover only one verse and try to understand this verse. Okay, give me 1 minute. Okay. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं देनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्यईश्वरं वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वापदान्तिकं। रूप गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय, प्रभुपाद की जय, गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। So those who are online, they can join in person. Those who cannot join in person, that's fine. They can be on the virtually. So here we are reading from 10th chapter, Opulences of the Absolute, continuation, verse number 26 today. From all the way from 19 to 42, this is the last section, Opulences of the Absolute. So where Lord Krishna has, as in this chapter we see that Lord Krishna is describing in the 9th chapter again, Manmanabha Madbhakto Madhyaj Imam Namaskuru Mame Vaisya Satyante Pratijane Priyosme. So Lord is emphasizing that think of me, become my devotee, offer obeisances to me, worship me. So how can you do that? How can we do that? So that's why in 10th chapter, Lord Krishna personally himself is speaking now without Arjuna asking anything. Lord wants to describe that how one can remember, how one can think of him, how one can hear from him. So how one can offer obeisances to him automatically, naturally, these feelings, how one can come to this point. And then Lord Krishna started describing, because you are dearmost to me, because you are dear to me, and your dearmost friend. So that's why I'm describing this opulences of the absolute. So and then Arjuna, Arjuna started asking question. The Krishna is source of everything. In the first, there are 5 sections in this chapter. The first 1 to 7, we saw that Krishna is source of everything. And then the next, Lord Krishna started describing the whole Bhagavad Gita in 4 quoted verses of Chatusloki Bhagavad Gita. And then that is the second section. And the third section, Arjuna has been revealed the most confidential knowledge where he could understand Lord Krishna's supreme position. So that chapter is, that section is titled as Krishna Lord Krishna supremacy, supreme position of the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. So Arjuna is confirming to the whole world the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, or in another way, it is Arjuna's revelations. For any conditioned soul practitioner, this revelation can happen to the degree of the surrender to the spiritual master, to the degree of giving up the independent plans, independent desires, and surrendering to the spiritual master, Guru and Krishna. Then to that degree, Lord reveals, Ye yatamam prapadyamste tam stataiva bhajami mama vartamanu vartante partha savasa. So according to our desire, according to our surrender, and to that degree, Lord will reveal. In this case, Arjuna has completely surrendered. So that's when full revelation has happened and he could understand. Till that point, he still has some kind of doubts, at least by the potency of Maya, is been covered. But now all the illusions are gone. Everything is revealed here to Arjuna. So that's what Arjuna is confirming. That is third section. And fourth section, Arjuna is asking now questions to Lord Krishna. Please describe your opulences, how we can actually think of you. As Krishna has described that previously in 7th chapter, I have described already, 8th chapter I described, 9th chapter I described. So why are you asking again? But Arjuna is asking that how I can think of you everywhere, how you are pervaded everywhere throughout this world. Please explain so that we can remember you. Because with our current conditioning, you are not able to think of you, become your devotee, worship, constantly worship you, constantly offering obeisance to you. So we are not able to do that. How, on a practical basis, on a day-to-day basis, how we can remember you, how we can recognize you. So by seeing the material nature, by seeing various personalities, how we can actually think of you. So then Krishna started describing this opulence of the absolute from 19 to 42. So last few verses we described about the how the is describing first of all about the how Lord is expanding himself into everywhere throughout this material world as super soul in three aspects. Karanodaka Sai Vishnu, super soul of all the universes of the material world, that is Karanodaka Sai Vishnu, and then super soul of all the material elements, all the living entities within one universe, which is second aspect of Mahavishnu called Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu. In one universe, there is Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu, one of them lying down all the way below the universe, is holding the whole universe. 14 planetary systems are there. So many countries, so many nations, so many planetary systems. We are in the earthly middle planetary system out of 14 planetary system. There are above 7 planetary systems, below 6, total 14. And then below that, Garbhodaka Ocean, and then around that, adjacent to that, there is a Pita, forefather planet, and also there is a hellish planet headed by Yamaraj. Living entities are punished. All this whole thing is um, being managed or in existence or in its orbit by Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu is holding the whole universe. That's why it's called super soul of all the living entities of the whole universe. That is the second aspect, how Lord is pervaded everywhere. Now the third aspect he has mentioned, Kshirodaka Sai Vishnu, that is specific to super soul as Paramatma. He is the super soul of each and every living entity. In each and every living entity is expanding as super soul. That is the third aspect. So that is the first description Lord is giving. Sarvatma is mentioning in the first verse, in the 19th verse, Lord Krishna is describing. Yeah, there are so many opulences. I cannot describe everything. I am only giving you one portion of it. Pradhanyata Kuru Shrestha. Um, I'm only describing the only main few opulences. And then after that few verses, we have seen various descriptions of out of all the sages, Bhrigu Muni, and out of all the yajnas, japa yajna. So like this, Lord is describing now in today's verse, we see about the trees. Out of all the plants, Aswadha Sarva Vrukshana. This Aswadha Vruksha is differently described as pipal tree, as a fig tree, as Aswadha tree. Fig tree has so many different families. So many type of fig trees are there. Banyan tree is also one of them. Aswadha, Pipala, Banyan tree. And it is a sacred tree. In Nectar Devotion, Rupa Goswami is describing that one must worship like Tulsi plant. We offer obeisances, we offer respects to Tulsi Maharani. Same way, Banyan tree also is being worshipped. And if we look at Srimad Bhagavatam, begins with Narada Muni meditating when the Bhakti Vedanta is coming down. In the same verse, Narada Muni is also mentioned. So Aswatha Vriksha in this way, Narada Muni is also meditating on the spiritual masters. Bhakti Vedanta is left some instructions and left. So at that time he was sitting under the banyan tree. Not only that, even Lord Shiva in Kailas, when after Daksha Yajna incident has happened, Lord Brahma taking all the demigods went to Kailas. So there also Lord Shiva is sitting down under the banyan tree, huge, gigantic banyan tree, almost 200 miles or something, so much wide and in height wise, in length wise, breadth wise, so huge. So there Lord Shiva was sitting down and meditating. So it is very worshipable, like Tulsi plant. 10th out of 64 items in Nectar Devotion, Rupa Goswami is describing banyan trees, one of the item. So that's why banyan trees, Lord Krishna is mentioned. Out of all the trees, Ashwatha tree, as soon as you see Ashwatha Vriksha, then I am that. So immediately remember that the potency, the empowerment is given by me. So immediately remember me, that I am there in that particular tree or in Tulsi tree. He's only giving one glimpse of it. If you see any tree, whether it's a fruit or flower tree for that matter, you immediately remember. Lord Mr. Prabhupada is also mentioning, anytime you offer a fruit, anytime you offer a flower to the Lord, that flower, that plant will become at least human being in the next life and then go back to please come. Uh, they, he, they will get a human birth and then ultimately very close to going back to Godhead very soon. So that is the benefit of getting it offered from a fruit or flower from that plant. So that's why we should remember that the empowerment of that are the best results given by the tree. We have to remember that Krishna is actually empowering that plant. So that's how we have to remember. Aswatha Sarva Vrikshanam. That's why you'll see that Sri Prabhupada, wherever he is going for morning walk, beach or wherever, is always thinking of Krishna. Some instruction or the other. No one can even, realize, what he's going to say. What Prabhupada used to say immediately, because he could see Krishna everywhere. Savar Jangamana Deke Na Deke Ishta Devata Murti Sarvatva. Everywhere he is seeing Super Soul. Everywhere he is seeing Supreme Lord. So that's why he could see pure devotee is completely full 100% faith, 100% surrender. So that's why he could see. So that's why in this, at least when we hear this verse, any tree we see beneficial benefits, then we should immediately remember Lord Krishna. Then further is mentioned, the Devarshi Nam Cha Narada. Out of all the sages, Narada is a great sage, and we will see further from various scriptures about this Ashwatha Vriksha also, and especially Narada. Narada Muni has given so many instructions throughout Srimad Bhagavatam, throughout 4 ages, Kali, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, and Satya Yuga. All the 4 yugas, you will see so many uh, spiritual masters, even disciples, even was made by Narada Muni, such exalted personality. So even Brahma Mahatma Gaudiya Sampradaya, Narada Muni is there in that line. So that's why he's very, very out of all the sages of sages of the demigods, he is the popular one. Immediately, he's been empowered by Lord Krishna. So then further it is mentioned third line, Gandharvanam cha Chitrarada. So there is a connection from Chitrarada to Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So Chitrarada is one of the great Gandharva. So is popular, one of them out of Gandharvas. So that's why his name is. So that is me. Krishna is mentioning that is me. And then Siddhanam Kapila Muni. Kapila is directly the incarnation of Supreme Lord. Kapila has his own planet. All of them has planets in Vaikuntha Loka. అద్వైతం అచ్యుతం అనాది అనంత రూపం ఆద్యం పురాణ పురుషం నవయవనం చ వేదేషు దుర్లం అదుర్లం ఆత్మభక్తో గోవిందం ఆది పురుషం తుమహం భజ. So in Vaikuntha, below Goloka, below Ayodhya, below Mathura and Jagannath Puri, Dwaraka, Ayodhya, and below that, rest of the Vaikuntha planets are there. In that Vaikuntha planet, there are so many different planets. So Lord Vishnu in different forms have different planets, depending on which form, which living entity has which specifically master servant relationship. So there are different planets, innumerable planets within the Vaikuntha world. So Kapila is the Mother Devahuti's son, Kapila, but he is Lord himself, he is Lord Vishnu. He is appeared as son of Mother Devahuti. So, but he is appearing in the Siddhas, perfected beings. So above earth, we are in the Bhuloka. There is a Bhuvar Loka, which means where the ghosts and the Pretas, Pisachas, other living beings exist. And then there is a higher planet, heavenly planet, Svargaloka. Then there is above that is Janaloka, Tapaloka, Maharloka, and Satyaloka, topmost. But in between the Bhuvar Loka and Svargaloka, there are, it is not like just a linear, there is a 3 dimension, you can say. So in that you have a Gandharva planet, then you have Siddha planet, then you have Charana planet. There is a description kind of a structure of the universe, where how much distance they are, because there is Antariksha between the Bhuloka, Bhurloka, there is outer space. Within that outer space, the description is there. from sun planet to moon planet to Gandharva planet to Charana planet to Eksha planet, all that description. How much distance they are from earthly planet, that description is given. That so in this way, the Siddha planet is also there. So they are perfected beings. They have the mystic perfection naturally. They can fly. They don't need wings. They can go anywhere they want. So out of that, Kapila is perfected being in that way. So that's why I mentioned out of all the siddhas, as soon as you hear, you see Kapila, is remember that he is me. I'm empowering him. So is my expansion or incarnate. So in this way, Lord is describing here about the various opulences. Now we'll see one by one has been described here by the instructions to see from Chaitanya Charitamrita and many other places. So let's see one by one about the Aswadha Vriksha. Aswadha Vriksha is, as I mentioned in Nectar Devotion Worship, and then in Nectar Devotion further it is mentioned about beauty of Lord Krishna is compared with banyan leaf. And Nanda Maharaj's garments are described in banyan tree leaf color. The green color is compared with the banyan tree in terms of the opulences. Now the coming to the Narada Muni has so many different instructions throughout Srimad Bhagavatam. If you look at first Srimad Bhagavatam begins itself is appearance of Narada. Canto 1, Canto 2 are more of questions asked by Saunaka and other rishis. Divinity and Divine Service, second chapter. And third chapter is appearance of Narada Muni. So Bhagavatam begins with actually Narada Muni. Narada Muni is been described, he is describing himself, his own experience, how he became Narada Muni, powerful personality. He was a Gandharva himself in the previous life, Upabarahana, and he was being cursed when he was not singing, he was thinking to enjoy separately from Indra's instruction. Then he was cursed to become a son of Sudra. Then he was born of a son of a Sudrani. He has only mother, his father was not there, and his mother doesn't have much opulence. She was working under someone, so then he was also trying to help her mother. At that time, these four some of the Bhakti Vedantis, pure devotees of the Lord, came to stay at one place where mother is serving for 4 months of rainy season. So that's when Narada Muni tries to serve them, Bhakti Vedantis, and tries to hear from them. So that description is given. The first and foremost, how one can become a devotee, how one can think of the Lord, how one can perfect his life. In my own example itself, I was fascinated. One of our senior devotee started giving lectures. This was the first topic I heard, and I was really fascinated every day after hearing. Throughout the day, I used to read these verses, contemplate these verses. I think for many months. So Narada Muni's actual life, as actually how he could become. It seems simple, but it's not actually simple. Not what Narada Muni has achieved. So we'll see that. The first thing is mentioned that he's explaining to Vyasdev how did he become Narada Muni. Then there is describing, in the interest of time, we'll describe only few verses. So the first thing he is mentioning is he has heard from them and he served them and he has taken the remnants. So that process is describing the Canto 1, Chapter 5, verse number 26. तत्रान्वहं कृष्णकथा प्रगायताम् अनुग्रहेण शृण्वन् मनोहर ता श्रद्धया मे अनुपदं विशृण्वत प्रिया श्रवसि अंगममा भवद्रुचि. Where he is mentioning, oh Vyasdev, in that association of these four Bhakti Vedantis, by the mercy of those great Vedantis, Krishna Katha has been described. So I could hear them describe the attractive activities of Lord Krishna, and thus listening attentively, my taste for hearing for the personality of Godhead increased step by step. So that's why it is very important. Further, we will see that in Kapila's instructions also, the qualities and how one should hear. So that's why it is very important to hear from the devotees of the Lord, especially those who are attached to Sri Prabhupada's instructions, who are following day in day out. Then by taking their association, by hearing from them. So Narada Muni, all he did was by serving. While serving, he was simply hearing with rapt attention. So as when you hear Pravista Kannarandrena Swanam Bhava Saroram Dunoti Samalam Krishna Selilam Yatasarat. So the hearing transcendental sound vibration as it is coming from Golokaya Premadan Harinam Sankirtan. So these holy names or the name, form, qualities, pastimes, non different. Tannam Rupa Charitadi Sukirtaran Anusmrutyo. You have to constantly hear and then remember, then contemplate, meditate, absorption, recollection, all these things will happen. But when our hearing is proper, so sufficiently we have to hear and properly hear. That means it has to go from the ear hole, it has to enter in and touch the heart. Mm. As you put the in the igna, fire is there when actually proper wood is there. When the wood is dry, proper wood, igna wood, and it has to be dry. And then the ghee when you put that it cannot be margarine, so that cannot be some other thing mixture. It has to be pure ghee. And when you ignite, then it will burn like anything. It will rise like the real fire. Otherwise, if the ghee is not proper, if it has a mixture of something, it will sputter. Or if the wood is not proper, it will sputter. It is not going to light up. You try to ignite few times, more times. Sometimes the ignite will stop. These things will happen when the wood is not proper. Same way when the practitioner, the hearer, is not in a properly situated, he is not hearing with rapt attention, and even though speaker may be eligible, speaker may be qualified, but the recipient, the hearer, is not hearing with rapt attention, or or it could be also because of the sinful activities. So that where we are saying the ghee, when the ghee means it has to be the living entity, it has to be have that quality of not committing sinful activities again and again. Prabhupada talks about like a matchbox you are trying to light up, but when it is wet or when the stick is wet, we are like wood. We are being put into the fire. The pravista karnarandrena swanam bhavasarum. The hearing process, the transcendental sound vibration is entering through ear holes to the heart. That is, heart is like Yajna and it is you are pouring the ghee. The transcendental sound vibration is going like a ghee inside the Yajna in our heart. Then we are like the wood. The wood has to be proper. When the wood is not dry, when we are not inquisitive, when we are not properly hearing, or when we are full of sinful activities, then the tendency is not to accept what we are hearing. Even though we are sitting, mind is somewhere else. So these things are happening. Then actually the flames are not arising. When you are hearing, nothing is happening. Actually, you are sitting, but nothing is happening. But in the assembly of Sukadeva Goswami, in the assembly of Sota Goswami, in the assembly of Narada Muni, especially the four Bhakti Vedantis, when he heard Tatran Vaham Krishna Katha Pragayatam Anugrahena Asrunvan Manohara. Asrunvan itself means hearing properly. Without Asrunvan, when it is mentioned, no inabilities, no mixture of goodness, passion, ignorance. He is hearing without any other motives, other any mixture, is with rapt attention is hearing. Anugrahena, by their mercy. Obviously, speaker has to see that you are very much humble and meek. The hearers, the practitioners, the mercy has to be given. Obviously, one must be have this wants to hear, wants to associate. That is one thing, but also he has to have that humble and meekness. He really wants to get the mercy of the Lord and devotees. Then the Bhakti Vedanta, the speakers are also will be merciful to the recipients by seeing their quality, by seeing their genuine, by seeing their simplicity. Simplicity is Vaishnavism actually. For one who is simple, bhakti is very easy to perform. Mercy is also very easily obtained. That's why you see Sudama Vipra. That's why you see that one Brahmana in Sri Rangam Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "How you are crying? Everybody is chastising, criticizing you. You cannot read properly. You don't know Sanskrit. You never went to school, but you are reading and your tears are coming. How? Because he is simple. He is just following Guru's instruction. He asked him to read and he is just reading, even though he doesn't know much. But he is crying because he immediately remembering that how Krishna has become chariot driver, so lowest position. How did he took? And he was crying, tears are flowing. He is able to see Krishna. Arjuna and Krishna, what is happening in Kurukshetra is able to see throughout the pages of Bhagavad Gita. He has understood the essence. So that simplicity is needed very much in bhakti process. The heart must be simple. We must develop the love for Krishna. So that is the same called, because he doesn't have any obligations. Narada Muni was son of Sudra. So he doesn't had any much friends, and he doesn't have much other duties, much other activities, other things are going on. He was only his mother and himself, and he doesn't have much even opulence either. So it became so easy. And then on top of it, he was associating and serving these Bhakti Vedantas and hearing. While serving them, they were speaking Krishna Katha, because that's why they sit down at one place during the rainy season. So that's why it is mentioned here. Tatran vaham Krishna Katha pragayatam anugrahena asranvan manohara ta sraddayami anupadam. Step by step, almost everyday basis for 4 months of the period, step by step, he was able to move from Adav Shraddha, from faith, to Sadhu Sangha, the Bhajana Kriya. They initiated him also. Nishta, Ruchi, he has come to Nishta stage. When they left, then he followed from Nishta stage. Then he is able to come to actually Asakti and Bhava stage. We will see that further version. So Tatranvam Krishna Katha Pragayatam Anugrahena Asrunvan Manohara Ta Sraddayame Anupadam Ta Sravasi Mama Bhavadruchi. He has developed a taste for hearing. I want to hear this. Nam Nam Akari Bahuda Nija Sarvasik Tatrar Pita Nimita Smaranena Kala Etadrasi Tava Krupa Bhagavan Mamapi. When you hear, there's so much eager, very, very eager to hear the holy names of the Lord, eager to hear the pastimes of the Lord, eager to hear the qualities of the Lord. The Lord Krishna's, the Lord Jagannath's beauty, Lord Krishna's beauty is described as Barha Pitam Natavara Karnayo Karnikaram Bibrad Vasa Kanaka Visam Vaijayanti Chamalam Randran Veno Radha Sudaya Purayan Gopa Vrandai Sri Vrindaranyam Swapadaramam Pravishat Gita Kirti. As soon as Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to go into Jagannath Puri temple and see Lord Jagannath, he is seeing flute. Lord Krishna with flute is having a peacock feather, is running with cohort boys, running with gopis, dancing with gopis. That's what he's seeing. So a beautiful description is being given. So as we hear Narada Muni also, that's why as we develop eagerness, intense eagerness. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu one day was standing in front of Jagannath temple watching Lord Jagannath for hours together. No hungriness, nothing. Rather, Govinda, his servant, has to tell him that, Lord, your time is up. You are supposed to perform noon duties now. Oh, then he realized that time. Oh, I'm supposed. So he is completely absorbed. That is the eagerness. But for us, we don't have, but we have to develop. How will you develop? Then by associating with devotees, by regularly, at least initially it is mechanical. We don't like to do, but if you come in contact with the association of devotees, if you gradually every day you do it, even though it's mechanical, if you continue it, then it will become natural. It will be very tasteful. It is right now distasteful. We don't want to hear it. We don't have any taste for the chanting or the holy name or the seeing the darshan of the Lord or the qualities of the qualities of the Lord or even to taste prasad of the Lord. We have taste for so many other things. But as you start more and more engaging in this way, gradually you will become distasteful for all other things. You will be interested just like Narada Muni. This is the first thing he has mentioned. First is he heard about the Lord's qualities, Lord's name, Lord's form, Lord's pastimes. Then the second thing, he has given the remnants. They have given the remnant by seeing his quality of hearing with attention, eagerness, simplicity, his humbleness. Immediately they have given their remnants and he has asked their permission. Uchastalepan anumojito dvijay sakrutsma pasta kilpishay. So as soon as he tasted the remnants, then their sinful activities, his sinful activities has been removed by tasting the remnants. So that is the second step has happened in the case of Narada Muni, and that is what is described in these two verses, very very prominent verses actually. Priya Sravasya Anga Mama Bhavadruchi. My taste for hearing the personality of God had increased at every step. You can see, as I mentioned, the fire will flare up. If the ghee, the wood ourselves, the conditioned soul is in properly situated, and the speaker is also properly situated, then the connection is there, speaker to the hearer, just like Sukadeva Goswami to Parikshit Maharaj, and Sukadeva Goswami to Sudha Goswami, and Sudha Goswami to Saunaka and other rishis, or Narada Muni to Vyasdev, or Bhakti Vedantis to Narada Muni. It is perfect combination. So exactly the fire is flaring up in their hearts. The intense eagerness is developing. So that is what we have to ideally we have to come to. So where this further is been mentioned by Narada Muni is mentioning this to Vyasdev. He is relating how he has become Narada Muni. Vyasdev is questioning that. How did you become? उच्चस्त लेपान अनुमोदितो द्विजे सकृत्स्म भंजे तद अपास्त किल्बिषाई. This kilbisha means sinful activities. Evam pravurtasya visuddha chetasa. He became purified completely. Tad dharma evatma ruchi prajayate. Once only, only once only, he has taken remnants. Not even more times. I took the remnants of their food. By so doing, all my sins were at once eradicated. Thus, being engaged, I became purified in heart. At that time, the very nature of the transcendentalist became attractive to me. So, these are the two verses actually attracted me. I went deep and deep meditating on these two verses. Actually, how did it happen? How did he was able to so much eagerness in intense hearing and tasting and serving? So that's how I became captivated, and I'm continuing my service after hearing this. So never went back. Seeing the determination of Narada Muni, how one should hear, how one should serve, how one should see the Lord with so much eagerness, intense eagerness. We have to run to the temple. We have to run to service. We have to run to hear. We can never miss a day. That's how our life should turn to. So that's how Narada Muni has turned to. So that's what our life should become. And then what did he do after they left? Narada Muni is describing. तस्मिन् निर्मानुजे अरण्ये पिप्पलोपास्त आश्रित आत्मान आत्मानम् आत्मस्थं यथा श्रुतम् अचिन्तयम्. After that, under the shadow of banyan tree in an uninhabited forest, I began to meditate upon the super soul situated within, using my intelligence as I had learned from the liberated souls. So, as after Bhakti Vedanta is left, then even his mother was died. See, everything is happening by the will of the providence. If we have the seriousness, we are sincerely praying to the Lord, Nityananda Prabhu, Lord Balaram, Lord Krishna, and Srila Prabhupada, our acharyas, then Lord is facilitating our opportunity to meet the sadhus, opportunity to hear, opportunity to taste Krishna Prasadam, opportunity to do service, everything. Lord is facilitating what is there in the heart, then Lord is immediately reciprocating. We can't even realize how He is reciprocating, but based on what is there in our heart, accordingly Lord is reciprocating. In the case of Narada Muni, Lord has adjusted. Bhaktivedanta is left. Even his mother has been taken away because his situation has to be created for Narada Muni. Obviously, there are karma, but Lord knows exactly how to play this karma in such a way that it helps the devotee. Here, Narada Muni's case, no one is there. Narada Muni had no one at that time. But if we actually rather we will be fearful if no one is there, only we are alone. Imagine the situation. If we are in the same situation as Narada Muni, it will be opposite. But in Narada Muni's case, rather he took what he has heard from Bhakti Vedantis to the heart fully, without any fear. That's why Narada Muni further describing in the chapter 7. Yasyam vai sruyamananam bhakte Krishna parama purushe soka moha bhayapa. If you hear with rapt attention, then your soka, lamentation, moha, illusion, bhaya, fear also will go away automatically. That's why the hearing is the key. In Brahma Madhva Gaudi Sampradaya or in Bhagavata Vidhi, there are two Vidhis. There is a Pancharatrik Vidhi, then there is a Bhagavata Vidhi. Pancharatrik Vidhi is nothing but Archana, more of rules and regulations. Archana are the other processes. Worshipping the deity with more rules and regulations, everything has to be properly followed. But in the Bhagavad Vidhi, Sravanam and Kirtanam, these are the two. There are 9 angas: Sravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedam. Out of all these, the two foremost for Brahma Madhva Gaudi Sampradaya, we follow Bhagavad Vidhi, which is Sravanam and Kirtanam. Chanting and hearing the holy name, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And hearing Srimad Bhagavatam or Srimad Bhagavad Gita or Chaitanya Charitamrita. So every day, so this process, this is the foremost out of anything. Anything we are doing, garland making, or you are doing dressing, you are taking Krishna Prasadam, whatever you are doing, the chanting must go on. The holy names must go on in our heart. So that is what Sravanam and Kirtan Bhagavad Gita must go on 24/7. To so much so that when devotees, when they put the ear on the Prabhupada's body, they are hearing Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So that is because there is constant in absorption of the holy names of the Lord. So that's how one will become, even while sleeping, that will go on. So naturally, because we are continuously doing, that's what will happen. So that is very important what is been described here. So under the shadow of banyan tree in an uninhabited forest, I began to meditate upon the super soul situated within, using my intelligence as I had learned from the liberated souls. Again, he's not concocting or speculating something. He's only what he has heard, he's just following. So many times we want to do our own things, but no, that is not the process. And then the important verse is 16, 1, 6, 16. Jayatas charanam bojam bhava nidhita cheta outkamtyasru kala akshasya Hridi asin me sanair hari. As soon as I began to meditate upon the lotus feet of Supreme Personality of Godhead with my mind transformed in transcendental love, tears rolled down from my eyes. Without delay, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, appeared on the lotus of my heart. So I was relating these three verses. Once, first he heard for a few weeks, a few months, 4 months max. They were there. He heard and tasted the remnants. And when they left, in few months, he was able to come to this stage that he was able to actually come to from beginning stage to Asakti and Bhava, where he could hear from Krishna directly within the heart when he started meditating just by following. The speaker is perfect. The even though hearer was not perfect, he was a conditioned soul. He didn't have anything, no feeling, no love for Krishna, nothing. Start zero. But by the association of them, they Bhakti Vedantis, they showered the mercy. But he has only one quality. He was meek and humble. He doesn't have so many philosophies in the brain. He was simple enough. So he accepted whatever they said, everything as it is. No other speculations by simply following, simply hearing, simply tasting remnants, and after they left, he simply followed, continued what they instructed, and then he meditated exactly as per their instruction. In this way, then automatically he is able to come to the tears were flowing down as we six asked from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu describing. Ainanda tanuja kinkaram patitam mam vishame bhavam budau kripaya tava pada pankaj sthita dhuli sadrusam vichintaya. नयनम गलदश्रुधारया वदनम गदगद हृदया गिरा पुलकैर निचितम वपु तव नाम ग्रहणेन भविष्यति. Minute someone is thinking and submitting to the Lord. I am the Tanuja Kinkaram. I don't possess anything. I have no quality, no qualification. I need your mercy because I am the lowest. I don't have any qualification of material or spiritual. In that way, one who is submitting, I am the Tanuja Kinkaram to Radha Shamsundar Krishna, Jagannath. One who is submitting, Kinkaram, Patitam Mam, I have fallen down. Vishame Bhavambudav, in this material ocean I have fallen down. Please pick me up and place me at your atom as a dust particle at your lotus feet. Then this will happen. This tears will flowing down. Nayanam Galadasrudharaya, Vadanam Gadgadarudaya, Gira, Pulakai Nichitam Vapu, Tavanama Grahanena Bhavishyati. So then this will happen. Until we feel naturally like that, falling, or fallen condition. Because you can't demand from Guru, give me mercy, give me mercy. Yes. What he will do, there are the two aspects of Vanchana. That means one who is touching the feet of a spiritual master or advanced devotee, mercy, yes. Garland, glorification, those things. But you want real mercy of Krishna, then by following their instruction, then you will get the real mercy. You want the glorification, you want just some material benediction, yes, that is one type of mercy. But the real mercy is you want Krishna Prema, you want the really progressing. Actually, you want tears. Tears should flow down from our eyes as you see the Lord, as you hear about the Lord, as you hear about the pastimes or the qualities. So, such an attraction, such an intense eagerness, outcome tasru kalas. Asrudharaya. Tears are flowing down as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu exhibited. So this is the mood, this is the quality one must develop by sincerely praying to Narada Muni. Then we can actually come to this stage quickly, rapidly, to the extent we are simple enough, to the extent we are serious enough, to the extent we are inquisitive enough, then this can happen to anybody. No one is debarred. Doesn't matter what position, what quality, what background, where we came from, nothing, none of these will matter. Narada Muni's position is also like that. So, so it is a great advantage for all of us. Actually, it is a very nice to hear that this can happen to us also. So we should be thankful to the Lord that He's not looking at our material background or what background we came from. So He's ready to shower His mercy provided we follow in the footsteps of Narada Muni. Not only that, Narada Muni has given his mercy. Narada Muni has given mercy to so many thousands of devotees. Valmiki in Ramayana, the Treta Yuga. So Valmiki was a hunter, Mrugari. He became a devotee by Narada Muni's mercy, by simply following Narada Muni's mercy. Same way, the Daksha Prajapati had 10,000 sons two times, Haryasvas, Ilyasvas. They became devotees. Narada Muni, the Daksha Prajapati didn't wanted them to become devotees, but Narada Muni made them devotees because they are simply following, severely performing austerities and ready to get married and procreate. But Narada Muni walks in there and then sees that, oh, they are very qualified, they're very gentle, they're very meek, they are nicely performing austerities, they want to perfect their life. Oh, these are the best candidates for devotion service. Then he picks up, picks them up, and then started speaking what they are supposed to do. That is also very important instructions. And before that, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instruction we should see. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself is talking about to Sanatana Goswami about Narada Muni or about Shaktavesh avatar. In this verse, this is described, Narada Muni is described. Sanakadi Narada Prutu Parsurama Jiva Rupa Brahmara Avesh Avatar Nama. Some Shaktavesh avatar are the four Kumaras, Narada, Maharaj Prutu, Parsuram. When a living being is empowered to act as Lord Brahma, he is also considered Shaktavesh avatar. So Narada Muni is empowered. Unless one who is empowered by the Lord, we cannot actually transform our life. There is no possibility. Krishna Sakti Nahi Vinay Tare Pravartan. So unless one is empowered by the Lord, one or unless one Lord gives his mercy or his representative gives his mercy or empowerment, there is no possibility to one to become fixed up, to progress or to transform others. In Narada Muni's case, Lord has empowered. There it is described, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is described to Sanatana Goswami. वैकुंठ शेष धरा धारे अनंत ये मुख्य अवशेष अवतार vistare nahi anta. Lord Sesha in the spiritual world as Vaikuntha, and in the material world of Lord Ananta, who carries innumerable planets on his hoods, are two primary empowered incarnations. There is no need to count the others, for they are unlimited. So first there are six Sektavesh avatar prominent. Out of them, two prominent are Sesha and Ananta. Lord Ananta is holding all the universes on his hood. Hare Krishna. Thank you for coming. So that is Lord Ananta we talk about. There is a Canto 5 last chapter, glories of Lord Ananta. Even Rudra for that matter, we glorify Lord Shiva is right there. So whenever we offer prasad, bhoga to the Lord Jagannath, where it is going first? To Vimala Devi and Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is there behind all of you, Natraj, Gaur Natraj. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is also called Gaur Natraj. So he is Natraj, Lord Shiva is dancing. So he gets also Mahaprasad. We show the Lord Jagannath and then first Lord Shiva and then we show it to six Goswamis and Guru Parampara. So in this way, Lord himself is placed. Lord Shiva waited 12 years to get Lord Narayan Prasad. And then Durga Devi didn't get because Lord Shiva ate whatever portions given by Narada Muni, Mahaprasad of Lord Narayan. Then immediately was dancing and then he ate everything with that so much, anxiety and eagerness. He forgot about his wife too. And then Durga Devi really was upset and then started praying. So then Lord appeared and then told, don't worry, I will become Lord Jagannath appear. Then I will give mercy to everybody through you. So that's how Lord Jagannath first prasad goes to Vimala Devi, Durga Devi, Lord Shiva. Then everybody else gets. That's why Mahaprabhu very auspicious. That's why Jagannath Prasadam, we break Ekadasi next day with Jagannath rice. Jagannath Prasadam will never get contaminated. That is the powerful. As soon as we see on Ekadasi, if we get Jagannath Prasad, we offer obeisances, we offer respect, you touch to the head, keep it on the side, you use it next day. So that is the etiquette. Whenever you get any Dham Prasad, if you cannot take that day because it's Ekadasi, you touch, you offer respects, the next day you honor it. And that is the etiquette. It's not that you received, you should take it. Yes, if you are a Prabhupada, yes, Mahabhagavad, then you may do that. For us, conditions, so we are supposed to follow Ekadasi Vrata, so that we can take that day. So anyway, Anantadev, from Anantadev's, actually the power is even given to Rudras. When the annihilation happens, from Anant, even though Rudras are the sons of Lord Brahma, they are not, Lord Shiva is not Jiva though. Rudras are considered as Jiva. They are expansion of Lord Shiva. There are different Shivas. This is the third level of Shiva is Rudras. Jiva Tattva in the material world for annihilation. So Lord Brahma's sons, when he was angry, when four Kumaras doesn't want to get married, that's how Rudras were born. From the eyebrows, when he was angry, that's how they were born. They were devastating. So at the time, so but it is been described actually the power invested into these Rudras is done by actually Anantadev. Anantadev is the one who is giving the power for Lord Shiva, especially to these 11 Rudras to annihilate during the annihilation is given by Lord Anantadev. So you can understand the power of Lord Anantadev. So Lord Anantadev is also called Siktavesh Avatar, who is holding all the material universe. And in the same way, in the spiritual world, one who is holding all like a bed and everywhere paraphernalia, the the asana we have, the mat we sit under, Kusa grass mat, whatever, everything is expansion of Lord Balaram. So that is Sesha. Balaram's expansion is Sesha. These two are prominent Siktavesh avatars. Spiritual world is holding by Sesha and material world is holding by Anantadeva. These two are prominent Siktavesh avatar, has been described to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Further it is described Sanakadya Gnana Shakti, Narada Shakti Bhakti, Brahmaya Srishti Shakti, Anante Bhudharana Shakti. The power of knowledge was invested in four Kumaras. The four Kumaras have their own Sampradaya, Kumara Sampradaya. They are invested by empowered with this knowledge, Jnana Shakti. And Narada Muni is invested with what? Power of devotion service. So that's why we follow Brahma, son to Narada, Narada to Vyasdev, Vyasdev to Sukadev Goswami, like that. Further down, Prabhupada and Prabhupada's disciples. In this way, disciplic succession is coming. So we follow Narada Pancharatra. We follow at the time of initiation. We follow Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya, Narada Muni's line. We follow Narada Pancharatra at the time of initiation. But more prominently, we follow the part of devotion service, the first two angas of Shravanam and Kirtanam, which is Bhakti, Bhagavata Vidhi. The second aspect is Pancharatra Vidhi, which Narada Pancharatra, Narada is giving one Pancharatra, one section. It is not that Narada didn't give this Bhagavad Gita, that also he has given. He has described fully about devotions of all Angas, but he has specifically written for a specific section of people how to do Pancharatra Vidhi, how to do actual Archana of the Lord, how to follow rules, how to conduct yajnas. For that, what are the rules? So there, for I think 7 nights or 5 nights, Lord Narada has described to, I think, Vaikanasa sage or someone, I forget. So that it became the Narada Pancharatra book. And there is describing about that what support. So at the time of initiation, the name is changed, the neck beads has been given, and then you are sitting under the fire and you are giving receiving diksha from spiritual master, and then 5 or 6 things, and then you are supposed to beg money after you take the some money from the others Vaishnavas and then give back to dakshina to spiritual master. These are 5 or 6 things considered under Pancharatri Vidhi at the time of initiation. Harinama Diksha, first initiation. So coming under this Pancharatri Vidhi. Other than when you are doing the Archana, offering Boga, offering Arati, all these are Pancharatri Vidhi. But Bhagavad Vidhi specifically chanting the holy name of the Lord, hearing the holy names of the Lord is considered Bhagavad Vidhi. So this Bhagavad Vidhi has to be followed every day till our last breath of our life. More than the Archana process, more than the Pancharatri Vidhi process. That is to help, to assist Bhagavad Vidhi. There should be some rules and regulations. It's not that you wake up suddenly and you come to the altar and open the deity and then you start offering and start waking them up. No. Then that means you are not in Raga Bhakti. You are not gopis. We are not covered boys to do that. So that's why there should be some Pancharatri Vidhi. You follow some, taking bath and everything, cleanliness, all those are there. So especially for sadhakas, we follow Pancharatri Vidhi. But at the same time, the Bhagavad Gita is more prominent. If you go to Ramana Sampradaya, there your Pancharatri Vidhi is more prominent than Bhagavad Gita. Each Sampradaya has its essence and rules. But for our Sampradaya, Bhagavad Gita is the prominent, Sravanam and Kirtanam. So that's why don't try to open temple and do gorgeous worship. That is secondary. Primary is first hearing and chanting. Then only other thing. At least you do for some round before you do any service, before you do anything, at least one round of chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra must be done. Otherwise, you are bound to make offenses everywhere throughout the day. Because you have not chanted, where sadhakas, how are we going to do any service? We won't be able to do proper service. Proper attention to details are not being given. So that's why it's very important. You may go to Madhva Sampradaya, also same thing may be there because Pancharatri Vidhi is more prominent in some of the Sampradaya. But when it comes to our Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instruction, clearly this Bhagavata Vidhi is given. So one must chant the holy names of the Lord. Then you do, then it will help actually paying attention to details. So that is the prominence. Already 8:14, I think, of devotees will be there soon. So और शेष श्वास एवं शक्ति पृथुते पालन परशुरामेर दुष्ट नाशक वीर्य संचारण supreme personality of God had invested the power of devotion service in Lord Sesha, and he invested the power to rule the earth in King Prithu. Lord Parshurama received the power to kill rogues and miscreants. So these are the six: Sesha, Ananta, Narada, four Kumaras, and then here it is mentioned about Prithu, and Parshurama. Six personalities, six Shaktiavis avatars, empowered in. There are many, Vyasadev, even Lord Buddha, many others are there as Shaktiavis avatars. But in specifically more prominent are Ananta and Sesha, and the Narada is specifically is invested by the Lord with, as soon as you see Narada or his representatives, you understand that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Krishna has empowered them. Empowered them. That's why they are able to transform the living entity. They are able to make disciples. They are able to engage in uninterrupted, unmotivated, unconditional devotion service because Lord has empowered them through the bona fide Acharya Parampara. So that is what we have to see. We have to immediately remember this is Mahaprabhu's mercy. They are carrying. So Prabhupada is carrying. That's why Sri Prabhupada is able to transform the whole world. So immediately we should remember. So that's why Krishna is describing here about Narada Muni. And then Lord Kapila is also describing. Now we'll go to further to Narada Muni's description. There is, before that, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's further description is there. Very interesting description about Narada Muni appeared as Srivas Thakur. This is more interesting. So very fascinating. Let's hear. अनंत कृष्णेर लीला नायाय वर्णना अपनारे वर्णेन यदि सहस्र वदना. It is not at all possible to describe the unlimited pastimes of Sri Krishna, even though he himself described in his incarnation as Sahasra Vadana, 1,000 mouth Seshanag. In the further verse, you will see that Krishna himself is describing, out of Nagas, I am the Sesha, Ananta. So that is describing later on. Now, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is describing, this is Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami describing in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, 14th chapter, 202 verse onwards. Srivas hasiya kahe suna damodar amar lakshmira deke sampatti vistar. From it is relevant to this chapter. Opulence of the absolute. Now, Srivas Thakur, Narada Muni as Srivas Thakur appeared out of Panchatattva. You'll see the picture there behind Jagannath, small Jagannath on this altar. Panchatattva picture, five personalities: Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Krishna, and then Balram as Nityananda Prabhu and Advaita Acharya, Mahavishnu. On the right side is Gadadhar Pandit, and last is the Srivas Thakur. Srivas Thakur is nothing but Narada Muni, pure devotee of the Lord. So now Srivas Thakur is describing. When he has been asked by Sarup Damodar and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is describing. At that time, Srivas Thakur smiled and told Sarup Damodar, my dear sir, please hear. Just see how opulent my goddess of fortune is describing. Narada Muni is describing about the opulence of Lakshmi ji. This is in, I think, Hera Panchami time when Jagannath Radhayatra is happening. This conversation is happening. Now, then Swarup Damodar will describe. What are you talking about? You are saying that Lakshmi ji is more opulent, Vaikuntha is more opulent than Golok Vrindavan. You have gone mad. And then you will describe about Vrindavan. But this gets very, very interesting. Vrindavanera Sampad Deka Pushpa Kisalaya, Giridhatu, Siki, Picha, Gunja, Falamaya. As far as Vrindavana's opulence is concerned, it consists of few flowers, twigs, some minerals from the hills, a few peacock feathers, and the plant known as Gunja. This is Srivas Thakur is describing in this way. Vrindavanara deki bare gela, Jagannatha suni, Lakshmi Devi mane haila, Ashoyata. When Jagannath decided to see Vrindavan, he went there. Upon hearing this, the goddess of fortune experienced restlessness and jealousy. This is all transcendental pastime. It's not ordinary jealousy. Yeta sampatti chadi kena gila Vrindavana tanre hasya karite Lakshmi karila sajana. If she wondered, why did Lord Jagannath give up so much opulence and go to Vrindavan? Because he is there in Dwaraka, which is Aishwarya, full of opulence, Dwaraka. Go to Vrindavan to make him a laughing stock. The goddess of fortune made arrangement for such much decoration. तुम्हारा ठाकुर देखा ये था संपत्ति चाड़ी पत्र फला फूला लोभे गेला पुष्प बड़ी Lakshmi Devi chastising in this. Then the maid servant of goddess of fortune said to the servants of Lord Jagannath, why did your Lord Jagannath abandon this great opulence of goddess of fortune and for the sake of few leaves, fruits and flowers go see the flower garden of Srimati Radharani? They are describing in this way. Your master is so expert at everything, but why does he do such things? Now bring your master before the goddess of fortune. These are servants of Lakshmi. Lakshmi sends out of jealousy, so she is creating this situation. E karma kare kahan vidagda siromani Lakshmira agrete nija prabhure deha ani. Interesting, because Lord wants also sometimes. That's why Lord is not attracted by our so much about our chanting and Lord is pleased. Sometimes He creates in such a situation that He wants Radharani to actually chastise Krishna. He wants Radharani to use the bad words to Krishna. He doesn't like when Yashoda takes sticks. That's what Krishna likes. Sometimes it's not so much about we may chant or but if you are really crying, then yes, Lord may really feel that love and then immediately reciprocate. But actually, he really feels that love and he wants to be chastised. He wants to be just like the there's the parent-child connection is there. Sometimes the parent may chastise the child out of love. So all these loving exchange. Love is not just one thing. Love has so many emotions. Like if you look at ocean has so many waves. Sometimes wave is up and down, and it has so many fragrances, so many flavors to it. Same as the bhakti also, more and intense it gets, it has so many flavors. So that's why this katha is very important. Thank you so much. Kalpavruksha Prabhu ki jai. We'll hear. Oh, Premano Prabhu ki jai. And your son, Haribo, jai. Is also jai. Wonderful. We'll hear 5 more verses, beautiful, about Lord Jagannath. So then we'll stop here. Please come, please come. येत बलि महालक्ष्मीर सभा दासी गणे कति वस्त्रे बांदी अने प्रभुर निज गणे. In this way, all the maid servants of the goddess of fortune arrested the servants of Jagannath. Have you heard arresting the servants by goddess of fortune servant? This is just more and more amazing. Bound them around the waist and brought them before the goddess of fortune. They arrested the servants of Lord Jagannath. So because Lakshmi ji instructed them. लक्ष्मीर चरणे आनी कराये प्रणति धन दंड लाया आरा कराये मेहनति. When all the maid servants brought Lord Jagannath's servants before the lotus feet of the goddess of fortune, the Lord servants were fined and forced to submit. रहेरा उपरे कले दंडेरा तादना चरा प्राय करे जगन्नाथेर सेवक गण. All the maid servants began to beat the ratha car with sticks, and they treated the servants of Lord Jagannath almost like thieves. This is an interesting pastime. Don't think that this is something out of it is not in the material world fighting. This is not the same. Sabha Brutya Kana Kahe Yada Kari Hata Kali Ana Dibe Tumar Age Jagannath. Finally, all of Lord Jagannath's servants submitted to the goddess of fortune with folded hands, assuring her that they would bring Lord Jagannath before her the very next day. Because Lakshmi is very angry. तबे शांत हना लक्ष्मी आया निज गरा अमार लक्ष्मी संपद वाक्य गोचरा. Being thus pacified, the goddess of fortune returned to her apartment. Just see, my goddess of fortune is opulent beyond all description. Why am I describing? Because Srivas Thakur as Narada Muni, as Krishna is describing out of all opulences, I am the Narada Muni. And Narada Muni has appeared as Srivas Thakur, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is asking, who is opulent? And Srivas Thakur is saying, my Lakshmi is opulent, Dwaraka is opulent. Now we will see from the other side. Sarup Damodar. Srivas Thakur continued to address Sarup Damodar. Your gopis are engaged in boiling milk and churning yogurt, but my mistress, goddess of fortune, sits on a throne made of jewels and gems. So basically, they are fighting each other. Who's the opulent? Actually, what is real opulence means? Srivas Thakur was enjoying the mood of Narada Muni, thus made jokes. Hearing him, all the personal servants of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began to smile. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then told Srivas Thakur, my dear Srivas, your nature is exactly like that of Narada Muni. The supreme personality of Godhead's opulence is having direct influence upon you. And then we'll see. Swarup Damodar is a pure devotee of Vrindavan. He does not even know what opulence is, but he is simply absorbed in pure devotional service. This Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying that. Now we'll see from Swarup Damodar. Swarup Damodar then retorted, my dear Srivas, please hear me with attention. You have forgotten the transcendental opulence of Vrindavan. The natural opulence of Vrindavan is just like an ocean. The opulence of Dwaraka and Vaikunta is not even to be compared to a drop. You can see that. The one who is intoxicated with deep love and emotions of Vrindavan, they will never settle for less. They will never settle for less. This is what it is. Sri Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, full of all opulences, and his complete opulence are exhibited only in Vrindavan Dham. Chintamani Maya Bhumi Ratnera Bhavana Chintamani Ghana Dasi Charana Bhushana. Vrindavan Dham is made of transcendental touchstone. Its entire surface is the source of all valuable jewels. And the Chintamani stone is used to decorate the lotus feet of the maid servants of Vrindavan. Kalpa Vruksha Latara Yahan Sahajika Vana Pushpa Phala Vina Kehana Mage Anya Dhana. Vrindavan is a natural forest of desire trees and creepers, and the inhabitants do not want anything but the fruits and flowers of those desire trees. These are not ordinary trees. You can get anything and everything from these Kalpavruksha trees. The Surabhi cows. It is not like here. Not even like Vaikunta. This is in Golok Vrindavan we are talking about. Ananta Kamadenu Tahan Pire Vane Vane Dugda Matra Dena Keha Nam Age Anya Dane. In Vrindavan there are cows that fulfill all desires and their number is unlimited. They gaze from forest to forest, deliver only milk. The people want nothing else. In Vrindavan, the natural speech of the people sounds like music and their natural motion resembles like a dance. This is the most enchanting. The water in Vrindavan is nectar, and the Brahmajyoti effulgence, which is full of transcendental bliss, is directly perceived there in its form. The gopis there are also goddess of fortune, and they surpass the goddess of fortune who abides in Vaikunta. In Vrindavana, the Lord Krishna is always playing his transcendental flute, which is his dearmost companion. श्रिय कांता कांता परम पुरुष कल्पतरवो ध्रुमा भूमि चिंतामणि घनमयं तोयमृतम कथा गानम नाट्यम गमनमपि वंशी प्रिया सखी चिदानंदम ज्योति परमपि तदस्वाद्यमपि च. This is the last verse we sing in the morning from Samhita prayers. The damsels of Vrindavana, the gopis, are super goddess of fortune. So super. Out of goddess super. The enjoyer in Vrindavana is the supreme personality of God Krishna. The trees there are all well-wishing, wish-fulfilling trees, and the land is made of transcendental touchstone. The water is all nectar. The talking is singing. The walking is dancing. The constant companion of Krishna is his flute. The effulgence of transcendental bliss is experienced everywhere. Therefore, Vrindavan Dham is the only relishable abode. This is what Swarup Damodar is chastising, or rather telling that what are you talking about of Vaikunta is opulent. So 827, we'll stop here, but you can understand where we are going. We are not done. That's why I picked only one verse today. Narada Muni's glories are endless. We just touched upon because I always want to bring Gaur Leela because it is more intense, more deep. You can feel it. So that's why I want to bring that rasa inside this Krishna Leela of Bhagavad Gita. Then we will go and next week we can go back to Narada Muni's further glories and describe. But we'll now hear the Kirtan. Shravanam has happened, now Kirtanam is going to happen. Now, Sri Krishna Sankirtanam ki jai, Sankirtan Mahayagna ki jai. Thank you very much for hearing. Now continue to hear the Kirtan now. Yes. Krishna Mishra Prabhu is also here. Jai. Please come. So yes, Srivas Thakur was a question whether Srivas Thakur is Jiva Tattva. Yes, few devotees considered Jiva Tattva. Srivas Thakur is Jiva Tattva. Gadadhar Pandit is Shakti Tattva, and Lord Advaita Acharya and Lord Nityananda Prabhu, Lord Nityananda Balaram, and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna. They are Vishnu Tattva. The left three personalities is Vishnu Tattva. The fourth personality on the right is Shakti Tattva, and the fifth personality on the rightmost is Jiva Tattva. So in this way, right? Okay. Okay. So yeah, the further description of Sarup Damodar has been given. Suni Premavese Nritya Kare Srinivas Kaksha Tali Bajaya Kare Atta Atta Has. Srivas Thakur then began to dance in ecstatic love. He vibrated sounds by slapping his armpits with the palms of his hands, and he laughed very loudly. राधार शुद्ध रस प्रभु आवेश सुनीला सी रसावेश प्रभु नृत्य आरंभिला. Thus, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard the discussions about the pure transcendental mellow of Srimati Radharani. Absorbed in transcendental ecstasy, his Lord began to dance. Rasavesh Prabhu Nritya Surupera Gana Bala Bala Bali Prabhu Pute Nija Khana. While Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was dancing in ecstatic love and Sarup Damodar was singing, the Lord said, "Go on singing, go on singing." The Lord then extended his own ears. You can see we are getting into the right mode here also, in the context. This is the Lord's arrangement, looks like. व्रज रसा गीत सुनी प्रेमे उत्ताइला पुरुषोत्तम ग्राम प्रभु प्रेमा बसाइला. Thus Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's ecstatic love was awakened by hearing the songs of Vrindavana. I think you should start from Vrindavan song, looks like. In this way, he inundated Purushottama Jagannath Puri with love of Godhead. Lakshmi Devi yata kale gela nijagara prabhu nritya kare haila tritiya prahar. Finally, the goddess of fortune returned to her apartment in due course of time as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was dancing. Afternoon arrived. Now, we are arrived now. Here we go. Kirtan and dancing.